When everybody else is trying to be the same old tired 2D platforming game like Mario or Commander Keen, it's nice to know someone's trying something a little bit different. While Broforce isn't the most original 2D platforming game in the world, it tries enough things to help it stand out of the waves of cookie-cutter 2D platforming games out there. It takes elements from action games like Mega Man and Contra, adds destructible elements from games like Worms, and has classic action movie characters like the Terminator, all the while trying to feel like a modern independent game with a lot of polish. The development is nothing spectacular. It was developed by Free Lives, published by Devolver Digital, and released on October 15th, 2015. No real complex storyline, badly made Wikipedia pages, no BS. If you don't know, Devolver Digital is the same team who developed the hit series known as Hotline Miami, and I love the original Hotline Miami. Free Lives, on the other hand, if you look at their Steam catalog, they are a pretty fresh team, with the only other game they developed being a short game called The Expendables. To be quite frank, that game feels more like a free tryout of their game rather than just throwing out a demo and calling it a day. A fairly good way to get people who are unsure about whether or not to buy it to give it a shot and possibly end up liking the game. As far as the storyline is concerned, it's a pretty standard affair for a game that's trying to be more like a 2D action game version of a movie from the 1980s. You play as an elite group of soldiers known as the Broforce, who are fighting off a terrorist organization who you later find out is being led by the devil. It's your job to go from level to level, save prisoners, shoot hordes of enemies, and stop him from trying to rule the world. Pretty standard affair if you've ever seen a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie from the 1980s. The graphics are very retro. It looks like a blend of an 8-bit game's art style and the quality of a 16-bit game. Levels are very pixelated, details are very minimal, and in general, it looks similar to a game like Contra from an art standpoint. With that said, the quality is very well done. The levels can get huge. Bosses have tons of details, and in general, from the pictures that show up when you unlock a new character and everything else, it looks like a high-quality game. You may think that it leads to the game having an identity crisis, but it doesn't. It helps embrace its 80s action film style and charm, which the game is just full of. The audio sounds pretty good, but it's not well designed. There are points where it has music in the levels, and there are entire sections where there's none at all. What music there is in the game is pretty good. The songs are rip-offs or covers of high-energy rock songs like the Power Rangers theme. With that said, it's also cheesy, high-energy rock music, and for what's trying to accomplish, it does it fairly well. The gameplay is fun, has just the right amount of difficulty, but it has moments that I feel where the game could have been better. Don't get me wrong, it's a fun game with tons of action. It just has issues that keep me from giving it a higher grade. The fundamental gameplay is very much a blend of Mega Man and a game like Metal Slug or Contra. You run around from point A to point B, killing enemies and saving prisoners. You get a basic weapon and a special weapon with unlockable bonus weapons later on. You can also only fire to left, right, and down most of the time. The game also features both online and local cooperative play for up to 4 players, which is a nice additional feature to see. The stage select screen breaks up each group of levels and kind of looks like Bionic Commando, yet it feels like Mega Man. Each stage has a bunch of levels that last around 3 to 5 minutes, but feel a lot bigger than that. Levels have checkpoints sprinkled around, but the trade-offs are that you die in one hit. When you die, the character switches on you to another one that you have unlocked, and you get a limited number of lives before you guys start the beginning of that level. So in essence, don't get killed too often, and don't be stupid. Now, here's what I like about the game. The first is that the controls are great. Running, jumping, and completing levels is done with relative ease. The game gives you enough slide when you are running around, enough hang time in your jump, and everything else. Second, this is just a satisfying 2D action game to play. All the weapons have beefiness to them and pack quite a punch. Just watching bodies flying under the mercy of every shot you take is just satisfying as hell. Lastly, the level design is great. Never did I ever feel the game was killing me because the game was being cheap. Add on the fact that you can destroy elements of the levels, which is the part where I said it's kind of like Worms in that aspect, and add some replay value to this game. Now moving on to the game's biggest flaw, which is that I really don't care for the way it changes your character when you die or save a prisoner. I know it forces players to be more adaptive or elusive in how they play, and it adds variety to the combat. The problem is that I would rather have them all be around the same playstyle or in how they fire. The game has a lot of characters with so many, not everybody is going to be useful. There are some who fire downwards as a standard shot and really make you want to get them killed instead of actually using them. This can cause frustration when you're down to 1 life left, and you could end up starting the whole level over, sending you back, another 5 minutes of some very frustrating platforming. This element ends up looking like a double-edged sword, but it's not game-breaking. Overall, Broforce is a great 2D action game. This is one of the better 2D action games I've played in years, and top to bottom is everything good about 1980s action films. If you want a good 2D action cooperative game, then this is a great option. It goes for around $17 Canadian, and even if you can't afford it or you're not sure if it will be a game you would enjoy, you can still check out the expanded bros for free. So either way, I definitely would go check it out. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.